Okay,
it's quite a wiring system.
Yeah, it's quite a wiring system. Okay, they are interconnected neurologically. Okay, through the mechanisms I've just kind of talked about briefly, but they're also interconnected biomechanically. Okay, we're a giant system of levers and pulleys, and anytime you move one set of muscles and joints, you're causing a series of biomechanical chain reactions that's influencing the muscular tension and the joint position throughout the rest of the system. Okay, that's the balancing and the antagonistic kind of responses. Okay, to our actions. Okay.
And just that system can be studied for a lifetime. But just to give people a general perspective here, you got 206 bones, 600 or so muscles, all connected. Now, those bones and muscles and nerves, etc., they need something to function. They need proper fuel. They need which is what the whole nutrition and health is all about. That's the other part of your sermon. About polar bear, bumblebee, and
healthcare.
Healthcare.
How do
you take care of this body? I got this complex body. I was born. I didn't know anything about it. Everything I know about it now I've learned, and there's probably a lot more to learn. If you had to explain to somebody, what basic principles do you do as far as taking care of your body?
Well, keeping in mind that our objective is keeping the body balanced the way God intended it.
Right.
Okay. Man was not meant to mend his body. He was meant to take care of it. Health and healing comes from above.
Okay.
Okay. And more times than not, what we need to do is, instead of intervening, trying to make his creation better, trying to correct his mistakes. Okay, our Creator didn't make mistakes.
Right.
It was a perfect creation, a perfect body. Okay, and what we have wrong with it now is a result of this world's perversion of that body, and not his creation mistakes.
Okay.
Most of our health care is geared towards making it better. Okay, well, you know, you got this symptom, let's give you a drug that will make the opposite happen. Okay, you know, if you've got a part that's not working right, let's just take the part out. Okay, we've got machines that will do that job for you, or heck, it's an extra part, you don't need it anyhow. Okay.
Back to evolutionary philosophy.
Back to the evolutionary philosophies again. What we are supposed to do is keep the body balanced the way God intended it. We are supposed to take care of the musculoskeletal system. It is 60% of our body. Okay. Roger Sperry, a very intelligent individual, won a Nobel Prize back in the early 90s for his work in brain research. He is a neurophysiologist. Okay. Dr. Sperry said a couple of very interesting things. He said, first off, that 90% of our neurological mental activity, okay, is actually geared towards maintaining the musculoskeletal system. Okay, so 90% of the activity our brain goes through, okay, it's doing so in order to keep the bones, the muscles, and the joints in their proper interrelationship.
Automatically moving when you get uncomfortable.
Automatically moving when you get uncomfortable. You know, contracting muscles for respiratory purposes.
Heart beating.
Heart beating, all those sorts of, well, not so much heart beating, that falls into cardiovascular. Okay, but musculoskeletal maintenance, okay, is what 90% of our activity is taking place as far as neurological is concerned. So if you Dr. Sperry also said that as a person's body distorts, it has less energy available for metabolism, healing, and thinking. Okay?
Because the first thing it's going to do is...
It's going to shift its concentration and its effort into maintaining that musculoskeletal system. If you've got a brand new automobile,
right,
with a brand new, perfect front end alignment, okay, you can drive down that road using a little finger.
Right.
Okay, because it doesn't take much energy, much effort to maintain.
Because it's working right.
Because it's working right.
Okay.
If you get a bad alignment, if you hit a few potholes over the years, okay, and those tires, the camber on those tires starts to change, and now you've got a bad alignment. Well, now you've got to use both hands on the steering wheel, because you have to fight, okay, the distortion and the dysfunction, okay, that is taking place in those wheels. Okay?
So your driving energy is not being directed
towards going forward. It's being directed towards just keeping the car on the road.
So your body's energy can be directed to things that it shouldn't have to be directed toward.
Exactly. As our body becomes distorted, okay, once again, remembering that all of our systems are geared towards preservation of the nervous system.
Okay.
Okay. We are 60% musculoskeletal. Okay. Without our musculoskeletal system, our nervous system is vulnerable to all the forces of gravity, okay, and all the other things that can happen in this world. Okay, so as that body distorts, your brain shifts more and more neurological activity okay, to the care and the maintenance and just trying to get that musculoskeletal system to do its job.
So are you saying if a person is tired a lot, there may be...
There's very probable structural distortions that's causing that body to work overtime.
So the energy is going the wrong place.
Energy's going the wrong place. It's an improper energy conversion.
Or if a person is just simply not alert mentally.
If the person is not mentally alert, less energy for metabolism, running the parts,
Right.
and less metabolism for healing, repairing the parts,
Right.
okay, and less metabolism for thinking, i.e. contemplating
Sure.
the parts.
Right.
Okay. You know, it talks about, you know, science has said for years that we're only utilizing a very small percentage of our brain power.
I had students that used
Very
very small.
Yeah, I know. I taught a little college myself. It's amazing how much little brain power they can use.
Yes, sir.
But when they make statements like that, they're talking about our conscious brain power.
Okay.
They aren't talking about our brainstem levels, our basic biological functions. People don't damage brainstems and be normal.
Right.
You know, okay, when you damage those lower those more basic neurological centers, okay, you are going to have some sort of long-term ramifications in the system. You know, we're not talking about the part you think with. We're talking about the part that you exist, that makes
Part
you
you're not thinking about.
the part you're not
Right.
thinking about.
So you got this spine coming out of the brain,
Yes.
going through the nerve is going through the vertebrae.
The spinal cord comes out through the foramen magnum
Right.
at the base of the skull, and then it goes through a series of 26 vertebrae, okay, from the base of our skull all the way down to our tailbone.
Right.
And then coming out in between those vertebrae, these vertebrae sit on top of one another. I have just a few of them here.
Like a stack of donuts, sort
Like
of.
a stack of donuts stacked on top of one another. And when they do so, in between each bone, they form a little canal. It's called the intervertebral foramen. And coming out of one side, in between two bones, is approximately 300,000 nerves. So coming out in between, on one side would be 300,000 nerves, and on the other side would be another 300,000 nerves.
So this is your wiring harness.
This is your wire. This is the communication cables.
Right.
Okay, between the body parts and the command center. Okay, it takes place from the base of the skull all the way down to your tailbone, about 31 pairs.
Okay, now a fiber optic cable can handle an enormous amount of information. I know they say if you cut a fiber optic cable and you're digging in your yard,
Right.
they're going to charge you $10,000 a minute or something like that
Yes.
to come fix it.
Right, exactly.
Because there's a lot of stuff going through there. Is a nerve more complex than a fiber optic cable as far as is it carrying more information? Or any analogy there? Would you?
Well, yeah, certainly I believe it's more complex.
Sure.
Okay, without a doubt, because we are talking about dumb, mindless molecules carrying on very complex physiological activities.
Right.
Okay. Our nerves are very specialized. Okay, we have a nerve receptor. Okay, if you take a patch of skin, you have literally a dozen different types of nerve endings.
Some for pressure, some for pain,
some for light pressure, some for heavy pressure,
some for temperature.
One for hot, one for cold.
Ah,
Different nerves.
one for pleasure.
One for pleasure. I mean, there are slow firing neurons. There are pain neurons called nociceptors. Like I say, there's a different nerve ending for a cold sensation and a different nerve ending for a hot sensation. Okay. There are sense organs that are detecting, hair stimulation.
Sure.
Okay. Light pressure, heavy pressure, and then you start getting into proprioceptive organs, sense organs that are in the individual muscle fibers, okay, telling the brain what muscle fibers are doing. Okay, then you have sensor organs that are in the joints, okay, in the tendons around the joints, telling the body where the body position is at in relative to that joint. So, we are a very complex network of nerves. Okay, as a matter of fact, if we were to dissolve all the other tissues, we'd still have a complete outline of the entire structure in the nervous tissue.
Right.
In the nervous tissue.
Okay, so somebody has a problem. They say, I've got a headache. They take an aspirin.
Yes.
Okay. What they're doing is unplugging the nerves.
They've pulled the plug.
They unplug the idiot light.
They unplug the idiot light. The aspirin has. You see, allopathic medicine, by definition, and most of medicine is allopathic in nature. And what allopathic medicine means, it's a drug that's designed to cause an opposite effect in the body.
Now the body's telling you, I got a headache.
And so this thing is just simply going to produce a chemical reaction that's going to mimic the opposite effect.
So then you think, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I don't have a headache.
Meanwhile, you didn't fix the problem.
Didn't fix the problem. Meanwhile, the aspirin wears off, and then you take another one.
Okay, suppose somebody does that for 40 years. That's the way they live. I'm sick, take a drug. I'm
Right.
sick, take a drug.
Right.
Which is what we've all been taught.
That's exactly what we've been taught.
Then